I think we might as well talk about our last subject matter, which is a movie that, once again, not that I wasn't excited about, but actually, sorry, I had no reason to criticize this movie. I just wasn't excited about it plot wise. I was like, let's see how it goes. I was wrong.
Yeah, I was very excited.
I was wrong.
Luke. Just look at the two people in front of it.
Yeah.
So
the father.
Yes, the father. This is the directorial debut from Florian Zeller and an adaptation of his own French stage play. The father follows a man, his daughter, and their silent squabbles as they try and figure out not only what is best for the other, but also for themselves. The difference between Anthony Hopkins' character and Olivia Colman's is that Anthony, also Hopkins' name, and there's Anthony and then there's Antony.
Oh, yes. Okay. I didn't realize there was a... Oh, okay.
Spelled the same. Is that Antony is starting to breach about with dementia. So as the movie begins, he's living in his cozy, familiar flat when Anne, his daughter, approaches him with a concern. She's thinking about moving to Paris to explore this relationship, a romantic relationship, and is considering leaving him behind. Or is she?
Or is she?
Is he? Is this? Is that? All of these questions and more will be asked as you watch The Father, an incredibly and purposefully disorienting film. This movie is equally parts beautiful and frightening, tapping into our own fears of aging just as well as the mysteries of the mind. Now, I said this when we were watching the movie together, and I guess I think this is a good starting off point for our discussion. But, after starting to get an idea of what the film was going to be, did you get nervous or maybe even scared whenever Anthony was walking into a room?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The first scene is pretty by standards, right? It's old man, early signs, or early or at least some signs of dementia. Yeah. Nothing too out of the ordinary. And then there's a switch. And you and I were like, what the fuck?
Ooh, the ground is moving.
We're like, whoa, where are we? What is going on? Every question that I had is popping up. I don't know what's going on here. It's like we enter into an Ari Aster horror movie at some point. It's you're just completely disoriented. It's like somebody smacked you in the face and suddenly you're in a different room. Whew, I was terrified by every transition in this movie because I knew my brain wasn't going to be able to comprehend it. We were falling apart during this movie.
Yeah, you fall apart emotionally too.
Yes.
This movie is so good. It's so hard. It's just a hard movie. And I don't know, I feel like I want to clarify why I was scared. And that, I don't know if that sounds too harsh. I'm not saying he's a bad person or anything. No. In fact, the few glimmers we get of the man he may have once been, or maybe the man who's still inside him somewhere, are quite pleasant. Yeah. I love the scene where, what's her name? Imogen Poots?
Imogen Poots.
Imogen, yeah. Whoops. Imogen Poots, who shows up at one point as a prospective nurse. Yeah. And he's talking about how he used to be a tap dancer and all this stuff. And he's super pleasant. But that's not, he's not a bad person. He has his ways. Mm-hmm. He has violent outbursts. But he's not a bad person. No. I've dealt with old people who are just mean and crabby. He's just a frustrated
old guy. Yeah.
But I was scared because dementia, just to be honest, to lay it out, is probably one of my biggest fears when it comes to aging.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
In general, my biggest fear is snakes. But when it comes to old age, dementia, and it's just...
Mr. Parker, I don't know how to tell you this.
Snakes.
Not only are you getting older and your body's breaking down, but you're also turning into a giant snake.
Why did it have to be snakes?
Why did it have to be snakes?
But I mean, to not only lose control of my mind and the ability to feel firmly grounded in my surroundings, but to lose the capability of recognizing my errors of judgment. Yeah, absolutely horrible. And it's something that shakes me to my core, and it's something that witnessing eventually, it feels like you're witnessing it firsthand in the movie, because I feel like this is very much a perspective movie. It makes you incredibly uncomfortable. But the second reason is that eventually, there comes a time in the movie, and like we were saying, it does not take very long, that every time Anthony walks into a new scene, you have no idea what's going to happen. Like, I don't even know, watching it again, already seeing it, if I would be prepared for what, like, the scenes are going to be.
For certain transitions, yeah.
Yeah, and I say it was scared. I'm saying I was scared because it was so effective.
Yeah.
You know, Zeller does an amazing job of maintaining pace, maintaining pace, but also keeping, like, the rug out from under our feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, things will seem normal at first, and then there's, like, one change, like a character change, or, like, something will change in the background. You're like, wait, what's happening? Where did that go? Where are we? Like, and the way that it's edited is so clever, because, and also just, like, the way that they do the set design. For the most part, for a majority of this movie, it really just takes place in one flat, in just his apartment. And seeing the apartment change over time, or even the apartment turn into something else, it confuses the audience, but in a good way, because you're also confusing the main character. And I think, like, this is the first movie where I'm trying to, like, tiptoe around this. This is the first movie I've seen where it really makes the audience feel like they have dementia. We've seen movies where they show dementia from the outside. This movie, I think, encompasses dementia from the inside, what a person with dementia is going through, how it's disorienting, how it's really confusing, how it's terrifying, and really seeing that unfold. It's pretty much unfolding up until, like, the very end of the movie. I've never seen anything like it. I think it's incredibly clever, and this is also based on a play, by the way. I really want to know how they did this on a stage play.
I have no idea.
I have no idea how they would do this. Like, maybe, and depending on, like, how much of a set that they have, but it feels like it's, like, really only, like, a 4-person play. You can really, or maybe a 5-person play, so you can really get around it with, like, not using much. I just have no idea.
Well, I mean, what I want to know is, like, are they messing around with the set on the stage as much as they were doing in the film?
Yeah,
just like
maybe.
Those little minute changes, and you don't even know if they're changes. That's what's so crazy.
Yeah.
You have no idea what is happening in this movie at any point. It's like,
because, like,
what are
point,
these
like,
chairs?
There'll be a bag
chairs?
here, and the bag is already open, and then the next scene, the bag will be placed. You're like, well, I thought that was there. Like,
it's like, oh, is that a change in scene? Is
Yeah.
that a change in time? Or is it even like that at all? Is he just completely seeing things differently?
And it's funny because, like, these are things that you would criticize, like, I don't know what period of time we're in, but, like, in here it's like it completely works. It's very risky, but, like, they do it to such a good degree.
What I liked about it, and you got to shout out the editing for this, is that it's not only his perspective, but it's also the perspective. You also witness the perspectives of the loved one. So it's actually, like, I think it's a really cruel trick that they play, because, like, there are many occasions where we're thrown into the thick of, you know, Anthony's crisis, where the tension and the confusion builds up to a point of explosion.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're there with him as he explodes, but then there are other times where we're sitting on the couch with his daughter, with his daughter's husband, with a nurse, and we're just watching it. So you get that inside perspective, but then you also get the outside perspective. And, you know, even with the knowledge and, I guess, the experience of Anthony's, dementia, the fact that Zeller is able to still pull us out of that mind set, or in that mindful place, and into a witnessing chair, is incredibly impressive.
Yeah. I want to talk about the acting a bit, because I think we think of, like, Anthony Hopkins as, like, Hannibal Lecter or so, you know, he kind of has just, like, this terrifying nature to him. Or, you know, we think of, like, Westworld or whatever. He also played, you know, Richard Nixon or Van Helsing. But I've never seen Anthony Hopkins cry. And watching him cry a few times in this movie is highly upsetting. It broke my heart. He's so good in this movie. Like, I haven't watched, like I said, the most recent thing I've seen Anthony Hopkins star in is Westworld and Transformers. I don't know, like 8 or whatever. Like, whatever the most recent, like, Transformers that Michael Bay did. And he's a lot of fun in that movie, even though that movie's awful.
You need to watch Two Popes. I know we talked about
Yeah, we did talk about that. I do need to watch Two Popes. But to me, like, this is easily, like, one of his best performances. He is fantastic in this movie. And also, Olivia Colman, her performance is very subdued, because that's kind of how you have to be with somebody with dementia, and old people in general. You can't, like, blow up on them, because it's not their fault. Yeah. Like, they're going through this horrible disease. And just trying to see her maintain her father, someone who's looking over her father, Imogen Poots, and Rufus Sewell, her love interest, her husband. We don't even know, but like her love interest, trying to like keep her life together in order to like maintain her love life and her father, and seeing her basically want to blow up, but she just can't. And also Rufus Sewell was also fantastic. It's like someone who's like steadily getting more and more pissed off as the story goes along.
Patience and pain.
Yeah,
Olivia Colman's performance.
With Rufus, he's like someone where you're like, oh, he's cool, and then eventually you're like, I don't know about this guy. but at the same time, you're like, bro, it's not his fault. He's not doing this on purpose.
And like, I don't know. Sometimes when you know this because you're married. When you marry somebody, you marry their family too. But I mean, like that frustration, not having that intimate father-son connection, or I guess established connection. I can understand. Okay, I don't want to say I understand his annoyance. Because I would like to think that I would not do the same thing in that situation.
No, you can say you can understand his annoyance. You just wouldn't make some of the same choices that he makes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. you dug me out of that hole.
Gotcha.
But this was Anthony Hopkins. This is my best performance of the year. I'm going to vote for him to win Best Actor because I think he should. I was not a big fan of Chadwick Boseman's performance in Ma. I mean, like, yeah, he was okay. And, like, those two performances are definitely the saving graces of that movie, which I think otherwise is only okay. Maybe that's just a hot take. I don't know. Maybe I should watch it again, but I honestly really don't want to.
I think in general you just don't like. What was the guy? He's the same guy who wrote Fences.
I
don't think you like August Wilson.
I do. I've read the plays, and I like the plays a lot. I've seen James Earl Jones, a production of James Earl Jones
in Fences.
Yeah, and I like that a lot. I didn't like what they did in the movie with it, and kind of like with Trial of the Chicago 7, I felt like the atmosphere in Ma Rainey's was very manufactured.
Gotcha. Okay.
But anyway, we're not reviewing Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. This is my performance of the year, and it's without a doubt. This man made me cry. He actually did. There was this one scene towards the end of the movie where I just looked at Eric. I'm like, teared up a little bit there, and you're like, yeah.
Like, yep, Sam. That hit.
He's so good. You know, he's portraying this. I can't even imagine the inner battle that is happening, and it's something that pours out both subtly and violently. And it also begs the question, because Anthony is stubborn. He is really stubborn, and you're wondering as the movie is going on, and you see him maybe start to, I don't know, maybe at the beginning of the movie, I don't know his condition or how bad it is. Like, we're given exposition is very thin in this movie. You're really just dropped into this situation. So you don't know if at the beginning of the movie he's like just starting with this, if it's getting worse, or if it's already bad. But, you know, that stubbornness, it seems to fade away throughout the movie because he's experiencing it more and more, and it's harsher. But you gotta ask, like, what is he fighting for? Is he fighting for dignity and pride? Is he trying to prove he's not so old? I don't know.
It's up for you to decide over time.
Yeah.
I love our reaction after watching this movie and trying to like piece together the story. Not the story, but the timeline, I guess.
We probably stared at the character list.
Yeah, trying to understand, like, okay, so who was that? Or who was that? Or so could that person be this? Could that person be that? Like, it really is, you kind of need, like, a map in order to, like, really pinpoint certain things. But that's kind of the excitement of the movie. Like, not that Dementia's exciting. But, like, it's the overall idea of, like, it's a movie that gets you talking the moment it ends. You're like, okay, so, like, where were we here? What is the actual timeline? Yada, yada. I really, really like this movie a lot. Like, I'm shocked. Like, everything down from, like, the cinematography, the editing, absolutely is fantastic. The direction, the writing, the performances, all, like, you know, caught me off guard. I was not prepared to be this in love with this movie. And, man, 2020 was a good year for film, shockingly enough.
Yeah, where did that come from?
I don't know.
Unlike Bill Maher talking about how they're all terrible.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal was.
I like Bill Maher, but I was not very happy with the way he was talking about these movies. Because, what is this? I mean, like, spoiler. I mean, this is going to be, what, my fourth or fifth 5 out of 5?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's a 5 out of 5 for me, too.
Yeah, so, sum it up, Eric.
To sum it up, I feel like this is a movie that you should really go in blind to. Because, like, really... I don't know what the trailer shows you, but I think in general, like, the way that this movie catches you off guard, not just in its story, but in its overall execution, is brilliant. I think that Florian Zeller is a star in the making. I don't know, is this his directorial debut? Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see what this guy does next. Because he's absolutely one of the most creative French filmmakers I think I've seen in a while. From the performances, Anthony Hopkins is... a legend, and this will absolutely go down as like one of his greatest performances, I believe. I would also say it's up there as one of my favorite performances of the year. It's between him and Riz Ahmed, truly, for me. And Olivia Colman is just a national treasure. I really, really love this film. I already said it before, it's a 5 out of 5. Please go see it. Go check out this movie wherever you can.
Yeah, the parallels in style and theme... Well, I guess not really theme, but between that and Sound of Metal are
pretty similar.
Technique, I guess, is better than style.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a great movie, emotionally, rationally, and chronologically. The father whips its viewers around like a rag doll. With 2 fantastic lead performances by Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman, the movie beautifully and frenetically articulates what dementia means for both the sufferer and the surrounding loved ones.
Yeah.
Ebert called movies empathy machines, and The Father is certainly that. I'm giving this 5 out of 5.
Fantastic.